Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over the new enhanced user input settings, which lets you store playable mappable keys and apply them to input mapping context very easily. This was brand new in 5.3, and as far as I know right now, if you search Google or YouTube for tutorials on how to solve this problem of letting players remap keys and saving them, um, nothing comes up that uses the new system, and the older methods of doing it are significantly less streamlined. So I thought I'd make a tutorial to help everyone learn the new system. There is documentation for it to a degree here, so you can check that out in the 5.3 documentation. But without further ado, let's dive into the code. Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do, this is all assuming obviously you're already using the enhanced input. If you're not, this won't help you. But assuming you are, then you'll need to go to your project settings and make sure that you check this enable user settings experimental box here in the project settings. Otherwise, none of this will work. Then next we'll want to go to the action that we are going to remap. And under player mappable settings, we're going to want to fill in some data. So this is a name for it. These are, not actually necessary, but helpful. And then once we have this name, that's all we're going to actually need for our code. Then to actually use the system, there's going to be two steps. So the first one I'm calling when my panel is shown. You could call this when the widget's constructed, whatever you like. And what this does is it gets the enhanced input subsystem, and it calls this new get enhanced user input get enhanced input user settings function, which will return nothing if you forgot to check the box in the product settings. Otherwise, it returns this user input settings object. Now, once we have a user input setting object, I'm storing that to a variable. The key function here is going to be register input mapping context. So we're going to take the mapping context that contains some binding for this action that we made. And if we go ahead and look at that, you can see here's my feint. And for setting behavior, I'm inheriting from the action. That means that it's going to pull this player mappable key settings options from here. Other than that, it's very simple. It's bound to queue by default, and that's it. You can also check, so I'm checking if the context is registered and not re-registering it. I don't think you actually need to do that. It just seemed clean to me. And then I'm logging if for some reason registering it failed. So that's step one. Then step two would be when they decide to change the key. We're going to take the user input settings object and call map key. And this takes an argument option. You can just make one by dragging off and clicking make. And you'll pass in the new key to bind, and then you'll want to set the slot to first if you're using just a single key for an action. So this basically means overwrite whatever the previous key was with the new key. You can, add it in the second slot, and then the old key would work and the new key would also work. But I'm keeping it simple. We're just going to change so that instead of Q feinting, some other key feints. You can leave the rest of these at the default, but you can set up, multiple profiles on a single machine or a hardware-specific profile if you want to, and let people save their keybinds that way. Then keep in mind this mapping name just needs to match the name we put in here in the name field. Then once you've mapped your key, you do apply settings, save settings, and you are good to go, and this will persist throughout multiple loads of the game. So to see that all in action, I'll go ahead and click play here. And so in my game, the feint key basically says if we're getting ready to attack, that we can hit Q and stop attacking. So I'm tapping Q and that little charge meter in the center goes away. If I let go without tapping Q, I swing, but if I tap Q first, then I don't swing. So if we pull up the key bindings for it, here it is. I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and put a breakpoint in here so we can kind of watch this happen. I'll go here and I'll change it to left alt. And that's going to trigger this function. So we can see here that we got a new structure here, and it's saying we're going to take the mapping name feint, and the new key is going to be left alt. And that is all there is to it. So now If we exit out of our menu and hit Q, nothing happens. If I hit left Alt, it cancels my swing. And to see that that saves and persists across sessions, I'll just go ahead and restart the game. And we can see that left Alt is working. And if we go in here, there is left Alt. So that is that. Thanks for watching.